Okay, so in today's video about Telcoin, first I want to check out this move on the downside and followed by that this strong bounce back and see what is going on in here. And then we are going to go on some higher time frames and check out this whole move down starting from the highest side all the way up here around, let's say 0.0088. And I'm going to tell you why in this region I am actually seeing potentially some great bullish patterns and what we need to do from here going on in order to be able to remain bullish with quite a bit of confidence. So with that said, hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you're having a great time with your family and loved ones, and let's just go on 15-minute chart and see what is going on. So since the recent drop in Bitcoin, in altcoins we got some big moves on the downside, and in Telcoin we did actually get a move down. But first, this wasn't actually that much of a strong move, and in it we just simply took this low right in here. But the thing that to me seems absolutely beautiful is the bounce back that we got after this move on the downside, and the price at the moment is actually higher before we had this move on the downside. And I believe, Bitcoin aside, I just cannot say that about a whole lot of altcoins. So this to me simply shows just how fantastic Telcoin is outperforming a lot of other altcoins. And I do think, based on what I'm seeing in here, smart money is definitely on TEL. Now, in terms of structures, if you remember in the previous video, I was saying, okay, this can be an impulsive structure on the upside, and followed by that, we're going to have a correction structure. And I don't mind if I see, for example, like a WXY in form of a double zigzag or maybe a flattened zigzag, doesn't really matter. And we're going to have some more moves down. And we did get a move down, but in this move, we actually took this low, and I definitely didn't expect that. So what's the play in here? Is this a bad sign and it suggests that something fundamentally changed about Telcoin? The answer is definitely no. You see, I still believe this whole move down starting from the highest side and ending now to somewhere around this low is a correction structure and not an impulse. And after it's over, or who knows, maybe it's over already, we are going to start the next major phase of the bull run, which we can definitely have maybe like a 100 to 200% move on the upside. I believe that is definitely possible. Now, my field of works is Elliott waves, and if you want to argue that, for example, we're gonna have our final bottom around here, maybe this is like a very important support, then okay, you must be able to find off of the lowest low in here a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up. This specific example is a normal 5 wave. Rules first are, we should not have overlapping of the waves between wave 2 and 4, and in any kind of impulse, wave 3 should not be the smallest wave, and for our sub waves, you probably know it if you are a regular viewer, excuse me. There we go. 5 wave up into wave 1, 3, and 5. Okay, and for wave 2 and 4, we can have different possibilities. Doesn't really matter a whole lot. Let's just say, sure, an ABC into wave 4, and yep, a WXY into wave 2. Understood? Okay, now let's go on the live chart and see what is going on, and can we find an impulse starting from the lowest low down here. First things first, in the recent bounce back in Telcoin, we actually took these highs right in here, and to me this is a fantastic sign suggesting this whole move down was indeed a correction structure and not an impulse, and our bull run is simply not over yet. This is to me the first bullish sign. The second sign, let's just delete the waves in here and maybe go on 5-minute chart and see what is going on. So what do we have in this region? I'm willing to bet that this is probably wave 1, correction for wave 2 to about this point, big 5 up into wave 3, correction for 4, and this might be a very classic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up into our wave 5. So because off of the lowest low in TEL, we actually had a solid impulsive structure on the upside, we can definitely argue that the bottom is in. Does this mean that from the current point we're going to get a move up? We can do that, but here's a very important point. We know that after a 5 wave up, we are going to have a correction structure down, and you can absolutely argue that this is an ABC zigzag to about this point, and maybe from here we are going to continue our move on the upside. But in H1 time frame, when this move up happened right in here, because it was a bit too fast, we actually created a very important clear gap, and I think it is going to be somewhere around this area. So in my opinion, gaps 95+% of the time are going to get filled. That's why I'm gonna say, in case that you see some more moves on the downside in Telcoin in the next couple of days, you definitely shouldn't be bearish in this phase, because odds are overall we are dealing with a correction structure, and also the fact that in the short term in this phase we actually took this side, in my opinion, is a very, very important bullish sign, suggesting this is indeed a correction structure. And on a higher degree, again, I told you, you just do not have to be worried about anything, because this might be a wave 1, correction for wave 2, and after our correction is over, what are we going to have? Hopefully a big move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5. Excuse me, there we go, something like this. Now, in terms of classic technical analysis, meaning support and resistances, I believe we talked about this region so many times. Let's put the chart on logarithmic scale and do this. Okay, so this was a very, very important resistance area back in here from weekly and daily time frame at the same time. And we were saying, look, if you want to say this is broken, you need to go on weekly charts, see a candle close above this region, followed by that a pullback, and then a continuation of the move up in order to take this high. Now, here's a very important point. When you get a break of the resistance area, that means at that point, that area is going to act as a support region. And in Telcoin, I can tell you, if I just hide everything, there we go. Let's actually go on weekly time frame and see what is going on. You see, there are different ways of interpreting this structure. For example, you can say, in this phase, we had our initial break, followed by that a pullback, and since in the next candle, we actually got a move up, and in it, we took the height of this candle, you can say this is now confirmed as a broken resistance area, which means now it's going to act as a support. On the other hand, you can also say, this was actually our initial breaking phase, and right now we're just having a simple pullback, and what's going to happen? A continuation of the move up. So what's the point that I'm trying to make? In my opinion, as long as we are staying above this area, we are definitely good to go up, but I do not want to see us hanging around this region anymore. Why is that? You see, let's say this is a support area. Why do we call this a support? Because around it, we are having a number of long orders. For example, let's say in here, initially, we are having 20 long orders. By the first time that we're going to reach to about here, 10 of those orders are going to get activated. And as a result of it, we are going to have 10 remaining. Another time, we're going to touch this region. Let's say 5 orders are going to get activated. Okay, we're going to have 5 remaining. Another time, let's say 4 of them are going to get activated. We are going to have, at that point, only 1 order remaining. And there will be a time which we are going to touch this region. And at that point, there aren't really going to be a whole lot of long positions in this area. And at that point, I'm going to tell you, we are actually going to get a break of this region, pullback, and then a continuation of the move down. So the point is, whenever you are touching a support or a resistance area, that region is just getting weaker and weaker by the minute, and chances of getting a break of it is just increasing more and more. Understood? Okay, based on that, how many times are we touching this area? Let's just have a quick count. Excuse me, what just happened? Okay, this is 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times we are touching this region. You can also argue maybe this is another time, which means it's about 8 times that we are touching this area, and every single time we are getting some sort of a reaction from it. That's why I want to say in Telcoin, if we do, for example, something like this, at that point, who knows, we might get even a break of this area. So I don't mind having a very quick pullback, but I need to see a solid move on the upside in order to get out of this area fast. And at that point, you can definitely bet that I'm going to say, you know what, we can have about a 1 to 200% move on the upside. And for my final point, let's actually go on a less busy chart, maybe from crypto.com, and let's just do this. Excuse me. There we go. So as you can see, right now we are in a solid uptrend, starting from this low all the way down here about, let's say, 0.0010. Now, we are having a series of higher highs and higher lows, and I think we can all agree that we are at the moment in the middle of the uptrend. And what is a bullish pattern that can happen in the middle of an uptrend? You know it, that is a bull flag. And in Telcoin, well, okay, here is your flag, here is your pull, and the moment that we get a break of the higher line, do a pullback and a continuation of the move up, you can definitely bet that our move on the upside is going to accelerate quite a bit. And what's the target going to be? First things first, you need to put the chart on regular scale, excuse me, there you go, and then you need to measure your pull from here to about this high and put it at your breaking point. Okay, so that will give you about, let's say, like a 1.5 cent Telcoin, which is, in my opinion, definitely possible. So for now, everything in TL looks absolutely beautiful. And right now, we are just outperforming a lot of other altcoins, including actually big ones, which is great. And it does show probably the smart money is in here. And maybe after a couple more days of consolidation, our move down is going to be over and we are going to witness a fantastic move on the upside. And maybe you need to wait a bit more and see in Telcoin a break of this line right in here. And at that point, you can say this is going to accelerate quite a bit with a bit more confidence. So I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in Telcoin's price chart. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next video, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.